The views and opinions expressed at Enhanced Down Under are those of the hosts and do not necessarily reflect the official views of the company. Any content provided by our hosts are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. Welcome to Enhanced Down Under, the official podcast of Enhanced NT, and this is the podcast that brings you the latest insights on migration and international education. My name is Carol.
I'm Anna.
I'm a registered migration agent, and
I'm a qualified education agent counselor.
Okay, welcome to the second episode of Enhanced Down Under, or EDU. We focus on talking about migration topics, but particularly about international students. That's why it is EDU.
Yes.
Enhanced Down Under. So just a recap of what we talked about in the first episode. So that's when we introduced
what Enhance is, our services, the qualifications of our people. Plus, also we delved into a sneak peek of one of our education partners, ICAE.
Which is ICAE. And again, I just want to say that if you have a background in hospitality, cookery, massage, beauty therapy, and you are thinking of studying in Australia, then please consider International College of Advanced Education here in Darwin, Northern Territory.
Yes.
So after ICAE, we also talked about study visa pathways. What comes after
the visa processes. Yeah, the requirements actually for student visas, and of course this controversial show money.
Yes. So if this is the first time that you're listening, and you want to hear about our thoughts on what show money is all about, then please do listen to the first episode.
Yes.
Okay. After visa pathways, we also talked a little bit about the other services that we provide. Apart from student visas, we also handle other temporary visas, such as tourist visas, work visas. We also offer services to businesses in Australia who want
sponsorship.
We talked about nomination, sponsorship, businesses who need help in getting people over from overseas to Australia. We can assist with that. Okay, and so now for our episode 2. What is our topic?
Why study in Australia?
Why study, or why choose Australia as your study destination? Okay.
All right. Well, Australia is known for its high quality education and multicultural. It's very diverse. So that's, it's no wonder why students from around the globe are drawn in this country. So other than that, can you give us more ideas?
I was just thinking, what are the other countries that, what are the choices of international students anyway? So apart from Australia, so there's US, there's 5 big countries.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like these five big countries, if you're from these countries, you don't have to take IELTS because
exactly.
you already,
that
you
English
already,
level is there. Certain English
because
skill
English
level.
is your
First
first language, and you wouldn't be required to take IELTS. So the top five big countries is USA, Canada,
New Zealand.
New Zealand. What's the other? So Australia is one of them. No,
Yes.
no, I mean not Australia.
I'm not sure if France is included. Is it?
No.
Because in the Philippines, they're included in the Five Eyes.
I think Ireland.
Ireland, maybe, could be. But definitely US is on the top of the list. US, Canada, New Zealand.
Yeah, but so the top study destination is USA, Canada, New Zealand, Ireland, and Australia. So if you were to choose between the five, why choose Australia? I mean, they're all multicultural.
Yes, they're all first world.
Yeah. So why Australia? Can you tell us more about what you have read? When you do a simple Google search, what would it say?
Oh, well,
Australia?
other than it's multicultural, and students can, when they come here for study, they can also work at the same time. So while studying, they gain experience. You can Google that. So
why don't we tell them something that's not searchable on Google? Because it's so easy to just search for it and
we have the kangaroos and the koalas here.
And all the other countries like USA and Canada, they're also high quality education.
Yes.
We can't say that they're not.
And the standard of living is also good.
Yeah.
So
let's give them our honest opinion. That's not from a website. Right? Like for example, is it okay if I go first?
Yes,
like
please.
If I was still a student in from the Philippines, I would choose Australia. Well, first, if I had relatives here, I would probably choose Australia. You always want to go where you have family or you have friends, right? But in my case, I don't have any relatives here. Not directly anyway. I probably have like third cousins or something, but it's not
distant relatives.
It's not like you can just show, hey, can I go to your house? I haven't talked to you in like 30 years. Suddenly, can I come to your place? Diba? But I would still choose Australia because having come from the Philippines, it's so near.
So it's proximity to our country, the Philippines.
Like there used to be direct flights from Manila to Darwin, and
via PAL before.
Yeah, and it will only take 7 hours, from Manila to Darwin. So that's a good thing because I hate traveling. It just messes up my sleep and so I wouldn't want to travel 2 days just to get to a country. So that's one reason why I would choose
Usually
Australia.
travel like if you're going to the US, 16 hours, or if you choose UK.
Canada. Tristan, the director, is always going to Canada because he has
relatives
his
in Canada.
There.
So
and he
long
probably
flights always.
travel 2 days, right? Just to get to Canada, right?
With so many connecting flights. So
yeah. But if you love spending time in airports and on the air, then go ahead. But that's just my personal preference. So again, we can't force people to choose Australia. We're just giving our honest opinion. So apart from the proximity, if you wanted to go on holidays, so it's close to all the neighbors are Asian countries.
Bali.
Yeah. They're like really good holiday destinations.
Easy to travel, going to Asian countries.
Go to Bali, go to Singapore,
Thailand,
Hong Kong.
Singapore.
And let me tell you something about the culture here in Darwin. Whenever it's holiday, where do all the Australians go for holidays?
Where?
They don't holiday in Australia. Where do they go? They go to Bali.
Bali. One plane right away, yes. Bali. It's or Singapore because it's just one plane away.
So that's
one plane right away.
One true thing about Australian culture is that they don't holiday in Australia. They holiday in Bali, okay, or the Philippines.
Yeah.
So what about you? Like, why would you choose Australia? I've already said it's close to the Philippines, and it's why would you choose Australia as your study destination?
I believe it's the warmth of the people. Since it's close to Asia, I always consider Australians as the good guys. It's a first world nation. Yeah, it is. But the diplomacy is always there. And it amazes me. That's why I'm drawn to this country. Yeah.
Do you have any
Honest
relatives
opinion.
here?
I don't, but I have many friends here.
Okay.
And I get their honest opinion because I've known some friends who, from Australia, they accepted projects and moved to the UK. And, they regretted it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because they of course, UK is a beautiful country, but they said that the work-life balance is, practiced and observed here in Australia, something that they don't experience in other first world countries.
That now that you mentioned UK, I was actually talking to my GP, my doctor, who's he's Sri Lankan by descent, but he used to work in the UK as a doctor, and he said one of the reasons that he migrated to Australia. He was already a UK citizen, but he still migrated to Australia because the salary here is higher compared to UK.
Compared to the UK.
And I was really surprised when he told me that.
Interesting, yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, I'm
really?
surprised
Are you
too.
serious? But UK is just like Australia, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
like we also look up to the Queen.
Yeah, yeah.
We're constituents of the Queen. But he said, yeah. I'm trying not to copy his accent. Sorry, I have this bad habit of mimicking accents. So I'll just use my natural accent. So he said, yeah, it's true. And I have a lot of friends there who are nurses and doctors, and they want to come over here because the salary is
Higher.
crap over there. Those were his words.
Yeah,
not
sorry
mine.
for the word, but yeah, that's
so
the
he
reality.
said, yeah, so I'll give you their number. They can contact you. Yeah, so yeah, that's a true story. Yeah. So why Australia? Going back to the topic, why Australia? So good quality education. The life here is actually pretty laid back, to be honest.
It is.
I've had a lot of clients from Singapore who came over, and also from Hong Kong, and these countries are really fast-paced countries. And I also have Filipino friends, who migrated to Australia from Singapore. They were already working in Singapore, and every time I asked them, why did you choose Australia, and they said, oh, it's Singapore is great, but it's just work all the time.
All right.
So it's you mentioned
The work-life
balance is
Yes.
really good here in Australia.
In Australia, you get to work, you are productive, but at the same time, you get to spend quality time with your family, with yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
the
right.
beauty here.
So I remember even in the Philippines, when before I migrated to Australia, even Philippines is really fast paced.
It is.
It
is.
I mean, we both worked in Manila, right? And I just remember spending all of my time in the bus commuting,
Same.
going to
Same.
work. It's like Monday to Friday, 3 hours commute by bus, and then you work 8 hours, and then you go home another 3 hours. So I felt like my life just revolved around working.
It's still very fresh in my memory because So same thing that I experienced, and there was a time that I just told myself, I want to quit. I can't be traveling 6 hours every day, just to get to work, or 3 hours to get to work and 3 hours to get home. So here in Australia, you won't experience that. Everything is just like, especially here in Darwin.
Especially, I was about to say, especially
in Darwin,
here in
everything
Darwin.
is just 15 minutes away, and the transportation system, I can say, is really efficient. I don't drive yet. I still don't have a car. I'm very new here, but I took the bus, and each time that I take the bus, I'm amazed.
But there's also traffic here in Australia.
There
I mean,
is.
don't make it sound
Especially
like
in
there's no
other
traffic.
cities, in other major cities.
Like you go to Sydney, Melbourne, then
Yeah.
there's definitely traffic there. But But that's why you should consider coming to Darwin
Yeah.
if you don't like traffic. So,
Come here in Darwin.
so it's very laid back. I mean, generally speaking, Australia is a laid back country. Okay, but Darwin is like the top laid back of them all. That's why here, if you're in Darwin,
You just chill.
you're in the top end. Okay, because we're at the very top of Australia, like 12 o'clock. So everybody here is just chill.
They
and-
say Darwin is a gateway or to Asia.
yeah, gateway to Asia because we're so close to East Timor and Bali. Okay, so that's why you should study to Australia. Yeah. So what else is our topic for today? Students' common questions about Australia.
Oh, interesting. Usually, what are the types of visa that we can apply? Which
The main question that I usually get is, how do I migrate?
yeah, the ultimate goal.
Yeah, how do I migrate to Australia? And it's such a
I thought you're studying.
big question, like there's no. I wish the answer was just like
Straightforward.
and that it applies to everyone. But unfortunately, it's not the case.
Yeah.
Because everyone has a different circumstances. Everybody comes from different
Background.
and the financial capacity is
That
always
plays a crucial
factor.
role, of course.
Yeah, and the English levels is all different. So what worked for one person may not work for another.
Exactly.
Like for example, I studied in Australia, but I didn't apply for a student visa though. I studied remotely, but that applied to me. It might not work for everyone else. So what are the other questions? How do I migrate? What else?
The quality of living in Australia, the cost of living. So definitely, it's not cheap to live here.
That's
Yeah.
true.
But the quality of living, I can say that it's superb. It's safe. Generally, Australia is a safe country.
Yes. Where should I study? That's another question.
Yeah, where should I study? That's
How would we answer that? Where should I study? Is it something that you can just Google? Where should I
Yeah.
study?
Well, it depends, of course, on the background of the person, your previous work background or your education, your previous education. Like, you're engineering and then suddenly you want to shift to cookery.
Yeah.
Then you have to give good justification in that. Education agents like us, we can, provide guidance.
Yeah, so that's where we come in. So we were just talking about how we believe AI cannot replace
We are irreplaceable.
migration agents or education
Yeah.
agents, right? We were just talking about it before we started shooting this podcast. So one of the reasons why we believe we can't really be replaced by
AIs, artificial intelligence,
artificial
or by
intelligence, because
robots.
you can easily Google where should I study, right? And you'll probably get a bunch of information
ready.
You'll get information overload, right? And you'll just start clicking and clicking until you're stuck into a rabbit hole where you
Yeah.
will not be able to come out.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you still need an expert's advice.
Yeah,
You still
it's
need our
kind of like
expertise.
watching Netflix now. Like it takes you forever to choose.
Yeah.
to choose a movie.
And then I get-
to choose one movie. And
I've been browsing for an hour and I still haven't chosen
yeah, and then
anything.
suddenly you're sleepy already, and you didn't get to watch anything. So that's what
There are so
happens.
many options.
Yeah, there's so many information. It's like information overload that you have analysis paralysis, right? So that's where we come in as a qualified education agent counselor and as a registered migration agent. That's where we come in and help you decide so that you can make
Informed decision.
correct informed decision. So we start by interviewing you, like we want to know, we get to know you. We want to know your life story, what's your background, who are your parents, who was your first boyfriend?
Yeah, even those information, it's special.
You'll be surprised that even
you will be
even
needing
visa
to,
officers ask for that question.
You will have to declare that in your statement of purpose.
Yeah, we want to know, do you have a de facto, but are you married?
How many children do you have?
In a de facto relationship at the same time? How many children do you have? Inside the marriage, outside the marriage? We want to know all those things because it does affect your application in the long run. You know, we like you don't declare them now, and then once you become permanent resident, you tell us, oh, Miss Carol, by the way,
I have another child from. Oh, why did you not declare that?
Yeah, you never declared it, and then so now we're stuck with all this work that we have to get your other children from another marriage. So it's really important to declare everything.
Yes.
You know, even if you may be embarrassed to tell us, but you know, we're really good listeners and we don't judge. Okay?
Yeah. We just
No
take
judgment.
it as it is.
Yeah, because you know, these are real life situations that happens. You know, a lot of times when people are already, you know, they've been living here a long time, already citizens, and then they come to us and they say, oh, I've got children that I wanna.
That they did not declare in the
Yeah,
past.
they did not declare in their application
So it
at all.
complicates things.
Yeah, very complicated. So again, common question: how do I migrate? So what else are the common questions? Let's go back to we're sort of getting off track, but you know it's so interesting. You know these when we deal with a lot of people. I've heard of so many stories.
Can they get financial support here, or what are the other supports available to international students? So,
yes.
Yeah, financial support. I think not much. Of course, you have to support yourself. You have to have that capacity to support yourself, or your parents should have the financial capacity to support your study. But when you might be able to apply for a scholarship if your grades are good. Yeah, that's one. And
how much money can I make?
Yeah, well, unfortunately we can.
Well, there is a minimum wage here in Australia. So as of 2023, the minimum wage is now at around $22
per hour
and 61 cents, something like that.
Yeah,
around $22 per hour.
Around that amount. Yeah. So at least you can base.
So
you have.
You can compare that with I don't know what it is in USA, Canada, or Ireland, New Zealand. So you can compare what is the minimum wage in those countries. That can be a deciding factor in choosing Australia.
Yes.
But keep in mind that if you're an international student, your main goal is to study.
Yes.
Not to
and
work.
not to work.
Okay. Just keep that in mind. I mean, we're talking all about how much money you can. But remember that if you're applying for a student visa, your first goal is to study.
Okay, you have to convince the visa officer that your main purpose in coming to Australia is to study, not to work.
Yeah. But working is fine.
Working is fine, of course.
That's allowed.
Definitely.
That is in your visa condition.
Yeah, you are allowed 48 hours every fortnight.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Oh no, that was before.
That was before.
Now it's
24 hours per week, or
so it's now 48 hours per fortnight.
Yeah, so not bad.
Yeah, they increased it. Yeah. So there's a lot of changes going on in the student international student field here in Australia. We received. This is not yet law, okay? It's just news.
Yeah.
That people are hearing. Yeah. No, like they've been broadcasting it, but if you look at the regulations, it's not yet put into law. Yeah, it's not yet implemented. So they're saying that they're going to make applications for student visas harder. They're going to make the English requirements higher.
Yeah, from 5.5, I think they would increase it to 6.
And the ones that previously needed to get 6, we're talking about IELTS, okay? IELTS 6. So to get into uni, if you're studying bachelor's degree, you needed IELTS 6 academic. So now they're going to increase it to 6.5. I mean, it's just little increments, right? But, you know, honestly speaking, it's always been hard to apply for student visa. Ever since I left the Australian embassy, it seems like it's gotten harder. You know? Back in our days, it used to be easy, you know?
You have funds, you have the English
because
skills.
it was set, as long as you have these
It was
amount of
straightforward,
funds,
yeah.
X amount of funds, and your financial supporter was a relative. Visa grant.
Approved.
Approved.
Now it's more complicated.
But now it's like there's GTE.
Yeah.
And GTE is so subjective. Like it's just
a lot of students are actually finding writing GTEs or the statement of purpose difficult. So we agents, we cannot write that for students, but we can just provide guidance.
Yeah, that's part of our services. If you engage us as your agents to help you apply for your student visa, that's already part of our service. We don't charge any extra fees to help you with your GTE statement. It's already part of our service, but we don't write it for you. Other companies do that, but I would not recommend asking another company to write it for you, because visa officers can see right through it. They know that someone else wrote it for you.
Yeah.
But we do provide guidance, because we used to be visa officers ourselves, so we know exactly what they are looking for. But that's not to say that we're not guaranteeing 100% that you're going to get your visa grant. We're not. I mean, by law, we're not allowed to guarantee.
We're not the decision makers anymore.
Correct.
So what we can just do is, assist you to, make sure that the chances of getting your application refused is low.
Or high.
Or high. I mean, the refusal is low and the approval is high.
Yeah. So we actually tell you if we believe you shouldn't apply. We tell it straight to you that we don't think you should apply for this visa, because we believe there's a high chance of refusal. You might want to consider other visa options. Okay, so I give that advice.
Actually, you're very honest. Yeah.
I'm honest. So
she tells them straight.
And a lot of people who don't follow my advice go to another agent and then go ahead and apply for a student visa, and then they come back to me and say, "Oh, I've been refused. Can you help me?" Now I have to charge you double. No, I'm just kidding. This is a joke. Common questions. We're done with the common questions, so we can go ahead with the next topic. How can we help in your dream to study? So we've already touched on that.
Yeah. So you want to study in Australia? Come to us. We'll provide you an expert advice.
The first step is really to contact us through either our Facebook page, our social media pages, or send us an email. So we prefer email, and please, when you send us an email, don't make it a one-liner like you're chatting with us, like, "Hello po," don't.
Hi, gusto ko po mag-apply.
We're not chatting with you on email, okay? So when you send us an email, please send all your information in one go. So
we'd appreciate that, because it would be easier for us to assess. If you can, include a copy of your CV, of your curriculum vitae, good.
Yes. So please don't send us one-liner emails. That's just a request, just a small request. So just include your CV. If you've already taken IELTS or PTE,
mention that in your email and then attach that.
Attach the information already, so that everything is already there, and we don't have to ask you so many questions, right? And we can already make an assessment on whether you are a good candidate for a student visa, or maybe you should consider other visas.
Right?
Okay. How else can we help them in their dream to study?
Other than the guidance that we provide to them, honest advice, of course. We give that to them. We've always been honest with our opinion.
And some students just don't know what they should study.
Yeah.
So part of the role of a education agent is career counseling, isn't it?
We provide that career counseling. So depending, of course, on your previous education again and your interest.
But what if they say, Well, I used to do tourism. Like I'm a graduate of tourism, but I'm not interested in that anymore.
Then you have to justify why. Let us
Because
know
my
why.
mother chose it for me. My mother chose this course for me. I never really wanted to to be a tourism operator.
Well, other than you have to justify and then present us any evidence that connects you to your interest.
Yeah, that's a good one. So what, for example, like now from tourism, now you want to do cookery. So what got you interested in cookery in the first place? Because you kind of had to bridge that gap.
Two different
Yeah.
interests. So we have to, definitely you're right. You
So
have to bridge that
can
gap.
they say something like, oh, because I watched YouTube videos and I've been a follower of
No.
this. Could you say that?
Anyone can just say that.
Oh,
at
that's
least,
not enough.
Show us an evidence that you at least exerted an effort.
More effort.
To chase your interest, your dream. Like if you are able to show us that, I enrolled to cookery or to hotel administration in the past. I've been there for a year. I studied for a year, but I was not able to pursue it because, pandemic came then. That may count.
Okay.
That may count.
Oh, that's a good point because I thought it was enough to just watch. But you're right. You're right. Yeah, just watching YouTube videos is not enough. Okay, you have to exert more effort.
You have
more
to demonstrate, that. Anyone can just say that. Oh, I saw my neighbor cooking outside, and
Oh, I'll give you. I suddenly thought of something that's similar to yours. So this is a real life situation. I had a client who used to work as in the cruise ship. So he would help with he was a swimming pool attendant. So this is a real life scenario, okay? So it was really hard for me to find a course for him because he didn't know what to take. He said, Miss Carol, I really don't know. I have no idea what course to take, but I want to study. So, well, if you used to be a swimming pool attendant, then you should study something similar.
Yes.
Something physical. So, I'm already 40 years old. How can I'm not good in swimming anymore. I can't do any physical stuff anymore. I'm getting old. So I asked him, what is it you really want to do? Because
his interest.
If you're going to study something, it might as well be like make a career out of it. Do something you're really passionate about.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what, Miss Carol, I've really been interested in doing handyman stuff, like
crafts, arts and crafts.
Electrician.
Electrician.
Yeah, I'm good with my hands, so I've always been interested in becoming an electrician. And then I said,
that's a skill.
Yeah. What made you interested? So from there, I keep asking questions. What made you interested in that? And then that's when he told me, I actually enrolled in the Philippines.
Oh, there.
So I'm like, yes, that's it.
That's the evidence that we are looking for.
So what happened? You enrolled, and then what happened? Yeah, and then something happened in my life. I wasn't able to finish it, and also the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And I asked, do you have evidence of this enrollment in TESDA? He had. So we were able to, dig that up. It was hard for him to get the evidence, but eventually, he
was able to obtain it.
Yeah, he was able to obtain it through chatting with them. But long story short, he was able to obtain evidence, and I was able to help him prepare a strong application. And he's on a student visa right now. So there.
Marvelous.
Yay! You know who you are.
Hello.
Yeah. So that's a real life scenario. So that's how we can help you. If you really stuck, you don't know what to study, we help you get to that point, by asking you questions. Sometimes, you just have to hear the right questions for you to realize, oh yeah, that is what I want.
So we'll be asking a lot of questions when we interview you. So be patient.
So the reason why we know that is because we went through have training.
Training.
Because she's a qualified education agent and I'm a registered migration agent. So every year we go through training so that we're up to date and
our knowledge and skill is up to date, so we can assist you more.
Yeah. So we have continuing professional development so that we always know how to deal with different situations. Okay. So now our next topic is continuation of visa pathways.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means what happens
After
after you study.
Yeah.
Okay. So we in our first episode we talked a little bit about this.
Yeah.
That you study at minimum 2 years. That's the recommendation.
Yeah.
Is 2 years, but you don't have to. You can study less than 2 years.
English courses, that's
like
6 months. You can do that.
If you have to improve your English first, especially now that they're making the English level requirement higher. Sometimes it's not enough that you just review by yourself.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to be around people who speak English. So it might be a good idea for you to
come here to study for English.
Yeah,
because
perhaps it could be 3 months.
As a start, as a start.
It could be up to 6 months. It could even be up to a year. It really depends on your English level. Like if your English level is like, let's say you're at a 4 and you want to get into a university, which is a 6.5. So you would probably need to study at least a year.
At least a year to be here to
you
to
can't
improve.
Just self-study that.
It is
too
difficult.
hard.
It is difficult.
It's too difficult.
What better way to improve your English than to study an English-speaking country, right?
Correct. Because when you're in a country where you have no choice but to speak English, you're forced to.
You will have to adapt. Otherwise, you'll be left behind.
So it really helps. So that's one way of. So why did we get to that topic? We're talking about
visa pathways.
Because I was saying
it helps because
because I was saying it doesn't have to be 2 years.
Yeah, so
it can be less,
like
less
3
than
months if they want to improve their English. That's why.
Generally speaking, you can't go to. But you can't go below 6 months for student visa, because otherwise you could just study on a tourist visa.
On a tourist, because you're allowed to have training. Yeah.
Study and training for 3 months on a tourist visa. So anything over 3 months would require a student visa.
Yeah.
Right. Typically, after subclass 500 or the student visa, typically students would apply for the subclass 485 visa. So what is the subclass 485 visa?
Graduate work
Yes,
visa.
it's a graduate work visa. So for this visa, you are allowed to work full time. So you apply what you have learned from your studies in the workforce. So typically this is 1 year and a half for there's 2 streams, the graduate stream. And what's the other one?
Temporary graduate and the graduate stream.
So post-study work stream. Okay, so there, I blocked that. Graduate stream and post-study work stream. So the graduate stream is 1.5 years.
And the post-study
is 2 years. Okay, so in that time you can work full-time.
Full-time, you are allowed to work
unlimited hours. Okay, so what happens after that? What are you supposed to do during the 485? Are you just supposed to work? And then that's it?
It's meant to work.
So actually, you're supposed to get your skills assessment done during this time. Okay, that's why you're working. That's why the minimum is 1.5 years. Because typically after 1 year, you should be able to apply for a skills assessment. So this time on the 485 visa is really critical because you should be working in the field of your occupation. So a lot of students
to be able to qualify.
The
skills assessment.
Correct. So a lot of students make the mistake of working just anywhere. Because they want to earn money.
Yeah, they cannot declare that. Or they cannot include that in their.
They can do that because
but it's not related. Yeah.
I mean, on the 485 visa,
Yeah.
you can work at whatever job
Yeah.
you want. But many students make the mistake of working just
Any
anywhere
job.
just to earn money. So what I'm trying to say is it's really important that you work in your nominated occupation, or your, the occupation that you want to nominate in the future. Because once the 485 visa is gone, then
What now?
what happens? You won't be able to. You're supposed to apply for skills assessment and then apply for permanent residency. So that's the typical pathway. If you're just working anywhere, for example, you're working at supermarket and then you're working at a cleaning job, it's all fine, but it's not going to get you your skills assessment. And if you run out of time, one day you realize, oh, I only have 3 months left on my 485 visa. And then they come to me and say, what do I do? Miss Carol, what do I do now? I only have 3 months left. I was like, let's see, can you apply for a skills assessment? What have you been doing this past year?
Unfortunately, not in his or her nominated.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Your work experience. Wow, you have so many jobs, but they're all we cannot use them, unfortunately, for skills assessment, because skills assessments, you have to be specific. For example, you're going to be an accountant, then you should be working in a accounting firm.
Yeah.
Or an accounting clerk.
Related.
Yeah.
To your
nominated
field.
job that's related that we can use towards that occupation. Or one typical occupation is a community services worker or a disability worker, disability services officer. A lot of students who studied diploma in community services. So when they were students, they were studying diploma of community services for 2 years, and after that, so they're working, and then they come up to me, can I apply for skills assessment? And I said, oh, you don't have enough. You only started working in disability the last 6 months, but you need
so it's
a
not
year.
yet enough.
So what now? So that's when the visa pathway sort of goes in different ways. If you don't have enough experience, you may want to apply for another student visa again
To further your study?
to further your study, or if you have an employer already who's willing to sponsor you, that can be another way. So it could be a training visa to help enhance your skills, and if you manage to get a training visa, then that's your pathway. Then you would be able to gain more experience, because you need at least a year, and then once you get a year, then you can apply for
skills assessment.
Yeah. So it really, I guess you can say the end goal is to get a skills assessment so that you can apply
So
for
that can be your ticket for
yes,
PR.
correct. But skills assessment is not the only thing, it's also English.
Yeah.
English levels. So sometimes I get cases where their skills assessment is okay.
Highly skilled, but the level of English
Yeah, the English is, just 0.5
just
short.
needs a little more
Short of
improvement.
0.5.
Yeah.
Because you need at least 6.0 to qualify. IELTS 6.0. And there are some students, they have 5.5. Or all the other bands are okay, but there's one that's not getting it there.
Yeah.
It's either it's
So
always
they have to retake.
it's always the writing,
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Writing is pretty difficult.
Yeah. It's also like they try to get the writing 6, but they're always getting 5.5. Or once they get the writing there, then it's it's another one. It's the
It could be the
listening.
speaking or the listening.
Yeah. So it's really tough, So anyway, we were talking about 485, right? So from 485, you could either go to, if everything is going well, then you can immediately apply for your PR, which is 189 visa. Okay, but 189, apart from 189, there's also 190 Okay, and then there's also
skill nominated
491. Okay, so the three main skilled visas is 189, 190, and 491. So those are the three main skilled visas. Okay, and those three visas need a skills assessment and English language test. Okay,
minimum of 6.
minimum of 6 for general occupation, but if you're
It could go higher.
if you're
Depends.
a professional like a doctor or a nurse or a teacher, you would need a higher one. A 6 is only for general occupations. Like for me, I'm a migration agent.
At least 7.
Yeah, I needed at least a 7
For
in all
nurses,
bands.
yeah. For nurses, I think it's
Also
7
for
at least.
nurses,
Yeah.
it's all 7s. For teachers, it's higher. It's 8.
As expected. Ooh.
IELTS academic.
Academic.
And it's
academic.
IELTS academic.
Academic is, they say, more difficult than
Yes.
the general training.
So, if you're an aspiring teacher, and you come we're from the Philippines, so a lot of our clients are from the Philippines, but you could also be from other countries, like India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Singapore. You really have to think about the English level for teachers, because it's not easy. It's not easy. But in those cases, if you can't get that level that you need, then you might want to consider other occupations. Other occupations but still related to teaching, and then.
So there are other options.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's why it's important to talk to us, so that you're aware what your options are. Okay. So the other visas that we haven't talked about is the employer-sponsored visas, which is also very typical. The most typical ones are the Subclass 482 visa, which is the TSS 482 visa. TSS stands for
Temporary skill shortage?
temporary skill shortage. Correct. So with this visa, you can't apply for it by yourself. You need an employer sponsor for this visa. So normally the clients I get who come to me for this visa are businesses. It's usually businesses who approach me, or business owners who approach me and say, "Oh, I know someone. They may be on a student visa. They're about to finish. Oh, this person has been working for me,
And they're interested to sponsor that person.
yeah, it's a good worker, an asset to my company. How can I help them stay?" So when I look at their requirements, oh yeah, you can sponsor them for a 482 visa. So keep in mind when if you're a student, develop that relationship with your employer, and just show them your best.
You wouldn't know. You might get sponsored.
And another one, so 482, the Subclass 482 visa is temporary. That's why it's TSS.
TSS.
So take note that it's a temporary visa, which has a duration of from 2 to 4 years. Okay, and the other one is the Subclass 186 visa, and this one is a permanent visa. It's also employer sponsored. So you might be asking, oh, can I just go for 186 visa then? If you have an employer who's willing to sponsor you, and if you have all the requirements met, because the requirement threshold is higher for 186. So the English level requirement is higher, and the work experience required is also higher for 186. So typically, if you're just a student and you don't have a lot of experience yet,
You might not qualify yet for 186.
correct. The minimum requirement is 3 years full-time work experience for 186. And the English is also higher. It requires a 6. It requires 6, and you need a skills assessment.
Skills assessment,
Skills
always
assessment again.
skills assessment and English test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why do you think Australia is always asking for skills assessment?
Oh, well, to ensure that, they might as well get their locals to fill those jobs.
Correct.
And, yeah, right. So if you're hiring a foreigner, then you might as well prove that you are highly skilled.
That's correct. That's exactly it. Because if they didn't require, can you imagine if the Australian government didn't require skills assessment?
Anyone can just come here.
Yeah, businesses can just
Yeah.
sponsor anybody,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I was thinking of that, and I used to have I used to disagree with the skills assessment, because it's so difficult to
It
get.
is costly, difficult.
It's costly, and you have to go through
Very time
so
consuming.
many hoops just to get it.
I can tell. I experienced that. Ooh.
Yeah, she experienced it. I did too. All migrants experience it. Okay, so no one's exempted. So now that I think about it, I'm thinking from the point of view of the Australian government. Like, if we didn't have the skills assessment, anyone can just sponsor. Like, I'll just sponsor my brother.
Yeah, I think he's qualified. He can come here.
Yeah, where's the proof?
He's
right?
qualified, I say.
Because you said so.
I said so.
Yeah, so it would be exploited, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it would affect. It would eventually affect their economy because they don't have skilled people.
Yeah,
They don't have the right people to do the job.
And that's part of the reason why the Australian government is now going to be more strict on. We touched on that earlier, that they're going to be strict on students, and that's part of the reason, because Australia really wants to get the best of the best people.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they're falling behind in comparison with other big countries. So that's why they really want to attract skilled people. So that's part of the reason. Well, it makes it hard for more people, but that's why you need agents like us to help you
Talk
go
to
through
us.
the paperwork.
Come to us.
Yeah. So we've gone through all our topics for our episode today. So thank you guys for listening in. Please invite them to send in their comments.
Yeah, if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, maybe, leave a message at the comment section, and we will address that on our next episode.
So again, our business is called Enhanced NT. We are located in Darwin, Northern Territory. Our address is at 590 Mitchell Street, Darwin. You can find us on Facebook, Enhanced NT. But the podcast is Enhanced Down Under. Our website is enhancednt.com.au. You can send us an email at skills@enhancednt.com.au. And you can also call us at 0879792352. Okay? So that's it for our episode today. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Please tune in for the next one.